These SUVs were supposed to keep you safe, but they failed. Today, we're revealing 10 SUVs with shocking crash test results that could put your family at risk. Stay tuned. This might save your life. When you buy an SUV, you expect it to protect you, right? But what if the car you trust turns into a death trap during a crash? Today, we're diving into 10 SUVs that failed crash tests, some from brands you'd never expect. These results are shocking, and some might even make you rethink your next purchase. Let's get started. 2011 Toyota RAV4, small overlap, crash of first up. A name that's practically synonymous with reliability, right? Well, when it comes to the IIH's small overlap crash test for this model year, that reputation takes a major hit. This test simulates what happens when the corner of your car hits a stationary object, like a tree or a pole. And in the case of the 2011 RAV4, the results are, frankly, shocking. Look closely at how the driver's side airbag completely misses the dummy's head. Instead of cushioning the impact, the dummy's head slams directly into the steering wheel. That's a catastrophic failure, folks. And it gets worse. The side curtain airbag, which is supposed to protect your head inside impacts, also fails to deploy. So what went wrong? Turns out the airbag sensors in this model year were faulty, unable to properly detect the crash forces and deploy the airbags correctly. Plus, the lack of side curtain airbag deployment further compounds the risk of serious head injury. In a real-world crash, this kind of airbag failure could have devastating, even fatal consequences. Toyota did address this issue in later RAV4 models, but the 2011 version remains a stark reminder that even trusted brands can have safety shortcomings. Always check the specific model year's crash test ratings before you buy. 2010 Hyundai Tucson, frontal crash. This compact SUV faced some serious challenges in the Euro NCAP frontal crash test. Watch closely as the entire cabin structure collapses upon impact. The dashboard is pushed back into the dummy's chest, and the footwell just crumples like it's made of paper. This level of structural deformation is incredibly dangerous. It significantly reduces the survival space for the people inside the car. The reason for this catastrophic failure? A fundamentally weak frame design. The Tucson structure simply couldn't handle the forces of the crash, and without adequate knee airbags, the lower extremities are also left incredibly vulnerable. Imagine being in a real-world collision like that. This type of cabin collapse would likely result in severe, potentially life-threatening injuries. Hyundai did improve the Tucson's safety performance in later generations, but the 2010 model serves as a serious cautionary tale. Never assume a newer-looking SUV is inherently safe. Do your homework, folks. Thorough research, including checking those all-important crash test ratings, is absolutely essential. 2013 Honda Fit, small overlap, crash. Now let's talk about a smaller car that's been a popular choice for many drivers. It's important to remember that this test wasn't even a standard test when this Fit was designed, highlighting how safety testing has become much more rigorous in recent years. Watch closely as the driver's side of the Fit takes the brunt of the impact. Notice the significant structural deformation, particularly around the A-pillar and the door frame. This level of intrusion into the driver's side is a major safety concern. The small overlap test simulates what happens when the corner of your vehicle hits a stationary object like a tree or a pole. It's a demanding test, and it really puts a vehicle's structure to the test. Safety technology has advanced significantly, so it's crucial to consider the age of a vehicle when evaluating its safety. This Fit was a practical choice for many, but as you can see, safety has come a long way since then. 2014 Jeep Patriot, small overlap crash. This SUV also struggled in the IIHS small overlap crash test. The footage reveals significant structural damage to the driver's side of the vehicle. The door frame collapses, and the steering wheel is pushed dangerously close to the dummy's chest. While the airbags do deploy, the overall structural integrity of the vehicle is clearly compromised. This level of intrusion into the occupant compartment raises serious concerns about the risk of leg and chest injuries. The 2014 Patriot's performance in this test really highlights the importance of the small overlap test. It's a challenging test that reveals weaknesses in vehicle structure that other tests might miss. 2016 Nissan Pathfinder, small overlap crash. Even relatively newer models can disappoint in crash tests. This SUV also struggled in the IIHS small overlap test. The footage shows that the Pathfinder's structure didn't hold up well, with significant intrusion into the driver's side footwell. This intrusion poses a real risk of leg injuries. While the airbags did deploy, the overall performance in this test was far from ideal. It just goes to show that even newer SUVs need to be thoroughly evaluated for safety. Don't just assume a recent model year guarantees top-notch safety. Do your research. 2015 Kia Sorento, small overlap crash. Another SUV that faltered in the small overlap test. The crash test footage reveals that the Sorento's structure was compromised, with significant deformation on the driver's side. The dummy's movement wasn't well controlled, and there was a risk of head and leg injuries. This result emphasizes the importance of continuous improvement in vehicle safety. Even popular models can have weaknesses that are exposed through these rigorous tests. 2017 Ford Explorer, small overlap crash. The Ford Explorer also had issues in the IIHS small overlap test. While it wasn't a complete failure, the Explorer's performance in this test was concerning. The structure showed some weaknesses, and there was a risk of lower leg injuries. This result demonstrates that even well-established models, ones that have been around for a while, can have room for improvement when it comes to crash safety. Never take anything for granted when it comes to safety. 2012 Jeep Wrangler, rollover test. The Jeep Wrangler, known for its off-road prowess and open-air design, has consistently struggled in rollover tests. While designed for adventure, the Wrangler's high center of gravity makes it inherently more susceptible to rollovers. The footage often shows the Wrangler tipping onto its side during the test, raising serious concerns about occupant safety in a real-world rollover scenario. While later models have seen some improvements, the Wrangler's inherent design presents a challenge when it comes to providing top-tier rollover protection. If you're considering a Wrangler, it's crucial to understand this inherent risk and drive accordingly. 2013 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, small overlap crash. The 2013 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport also performed poorly in the IIHS small overlap crash test. The footage reveals significant structural deformation on the driver's side, with the door frame collapsing and intruding quite a bit into the occupant compartment. This level of intrusion poses a serious risk of injuries to the driver's legs and chest. The Outlander Sport's performance in this test highlights the importance of considering crash test results when choosing even a smaller, more compact SUV. Don't assume smaller means safer. 2011 Kia Sportage, small overlap crash. Rounding out our list today is the 2011 Kia Sportage. This SUV also struggled in the IIHS small overlap crash test. The footage shows significant structural damage, particularly around the driver's side. The door frame collapses and there's noticeable intrusion into the footwell area. This type of structural damage raises concerns about potential leg and lower body injuries in a real-world crash. Like many of the other SUVs we've seen, the 2011 Sportage highlights the importance of checking crash test ratings before making a purchase, even for models that are generally considered reliable. Now, it's really important to remember that not all SUVs fail crash tests. Many manufacturers are deeply committed to safety and produce vehicles that perform exceptionally well. Look for SUVs with top ratings from both the IIHS and HTSA. Features like advanced airbag systems, robust structural design, and driver assistance technologies all contribute to enhanced safety. Do your research, compare ratings, and prioritize safety when making your vehicle choice. So, what are the key takeaways from all of this? First, never assume an SUV is safe just because of its size or popularity. Always check the crash test ratings from reputable organizations like the IIHS and NHTSA. Pay close attention to the small overlap test, as it's a particularly challenging test that reveals weaknesses in vehicle structure that other tests might miss. Second, older models often lack the safety advancements of newer vehicles. While some older SUVs might seem like a good deal, they might not offer the same level of protection in a crash. Third, don't rely solely on brand reputation. Even well-known brands can have models that underperform in crash tests. Fourth, and most importantly, safety is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Don't compromise on safety when choosing a vehicle. Your life and the lives of your loved ones depend on it. For more information on crash test ratings and vehicle safety, please visit the websites of the IIHS and NHTSA. They offer a wealth of resources to help you make informed decisions. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more car safety investigations, and let me know in the comments which SUV you think is the safest on the market today. Thanks for watching, and remember, drive safe.